Hey, nice Atypical Daydream t-shirt.
Thanks. It's my favorite podcast.
Mine too. But where can I get a t-shirt?
It's easy. The link is in the show notes.
That is easy. I'm gonna go get one right now.
That's a great idea.
Thanks. Bye.
You bet. Stay cool.
A couple hours of like super nail-biting, anxious reality goes by, and finally we get the thing working. He takes us down to the ground, and I'm completely freaked out, like super freaked out.
Hello, my atypical daydreamers. Welcome to the podcast. Here we share stories about life on the road when things get weird and you must adapt. My guest today is James Bullough. He's an artist, painter, muralist. He paints massive paintings on the sides of big-ass buildings all around the world. It's crazy. You know, it seems to me a lot of art is created in controlled environments. Writers have their desk. Actors have their stage. Potters have their wheel. Other artists, like James, must deal with all the elements. It's kind of Wild West. And like any good Western, the days are long, the townfolk can be sketchy, and there's just enough danger to keep things interesting.
The first time I ever painted on a swing stage. So normally when you paint murals, you paint from like a cherry picker, this truck that's parked on the street and it has this long arm that booms out that you can paint the whole wall from. But that only goes up to a certain level. And if you're doing a bigger wall, or if there's a building under your building and you can't get to it, you need to, rather than come up from the street, you come down from the roof on one of these, like a window washer platform, that's called swing stage. So the first time I ever used one was in Ukraine. And the project was super disorganized. It was a total clusterfuck, a complete mess. I showed up on the first day. None of my supplies were there. There was no paint. I waited for like 5 days for all my materials to arrive. I'm just sitting in a Ukraine hotel watching the entire series of Sopranos from start to finish. Then finally it arrives. I go out the night that it arrives to get started, and it's like raining and it's dark, and I've got this projector. I'm trying to get my sketch up on the wall. This is like a 14-story building. It's raining. I was miserable. The projector wasn't hard enough, but I was so frustrated. I just wanted to get started. We finally get the projector lined up. I'm like furious with the organizers, and he's like, yeah, you need to, let's go up to the roof now. We'll get in the swing stage and come down. I go up on the roof, and I, for the first time, see this contraption that they want me to get into, and it's like the most jankiest thing I've ever seen, just rusted metal. I thought that these things were like clamped into or screwed into the roof, but this is just like, they've got bricks, like old bricks counterweighting the basket that I'm supposed to step into, and the basket's maybe 4 feet away from the building and down below the roof line. So they're like, just jump in. I'm like, jump in? There's no harnesses, there's no nothing. And they're like, this is how we do it in Ukraine. I'm like, oh my God. The whole thing moves. You can't get away from the wall to see what you're painting. You're up on this thing. It takes 20 minutes just to go down to the street and have a look at what you've done, so you don't get that chance. You just paint. You paint all day and hope that what you're doing is working. And the rules in Ukraine was that I had to have a driver there. I wasn't allowed to drive the stage. So there was this dude just sitting next to me the whole time going up and down whenever I pointed up and down. He didn't speak English. He didn't speak German. It was like just, I'm not sure he spoke Ukraine, whatever, or Russian. This guy was rough. But anyway, so we're like a day into the project, and I'm just dying in the heat. We're blasted by sun the whole day. This guy's just sitting there watching me paint the whole time. At some point, I point up for him to go up, and he starts going up, but only one half of the swing stage is going up and the other is standing still. So now the whole stage is turning into a slide almost, right? And I'm like, stop, something's not right. And he realized, because where he was sitting, it was just going up. He thought everything was fine. I'm getting tilted. And then I realized the other motor isn't running. he didn't know that. So then he stops, he goes over to the other side. We're not at a 45-degree angle, but we're maybe at like 30 degrees. Like, it's uncomfortable. And we're 6 stories up off the ground. And this guy walks over to the other side, realizes the other motor wasn't spinning, and therefore we're at an angle. But he doesn't know how to fix it. He's just the button guy. He's not a technician. So he starts pulling on the cable, like yanking it. And remember, the top of this machine is just counterbalanced with like bricks. There's nothing really holding us into the building. And he's like yanking it, like hitting it with a screwdriver or something. And I'm screaming at him like, no, stop, whatever you're doing. So we radioed down to the organizers. They sent a team out to kind of help us. But the problem is, the machine is with us. Nobody can work on the thing because it's with us in the middle of the air. So they're like radioing to the guy, trying to explain to him what to do. A couple hours of like super nail-biting, anxious reality goes by. And finally, we get the thing working. He takes us down to the ground, and I'm completely freaked out, like super freaked out. The organizers are like, oh, okay, good. Glad thing we fixed that. Like, all right, are you ready to go back up? And I'm like, are you insane? There's no way I'm going back. Definitely not with this guy. Like, he almost pulled the whole thing down to the ground. I was freaked out. But they were like, yo, you have a half of a painting on the wall. We can't just leave. I was like, I want a plane ticket. I'm out of here. This project's been a disaster from the beginning. I want to go home. And they were like, yeah, we can't do that. They kind of gave me a little bit of a mafioso, like threatening, like, you're not going anywhere until this job's done. And I also really wanted to finish. Like, this was a big job for me. So I was motivated, but I told him, like, look, and this is dead honest truth. I told him the only way I'm going back up in that, and for whatever reason, the mayor of this district had showed up because this was like part of his project or whatever. So the mayor was there and the organizer of the project. And I said, the only way I'm going back up in there, you guys promise me this is safe. I want you and the mayor to get in the machine, ride it all the way up to the roof, and then come back down and show to me that it's safe and that you feel comfortable with it. And by the way, tomorrow when I show up, I want a new driver and like a new lift, this old rickety, rusty thing we can't have. And they promised. The mayor and the organizer went up. He was in a suit. Like, they're like holding onto the railing. They were so nervous. They went up, they came down. I was like, all right, that's step one. Now I'm going home tomorrow. I want a new driver and a new lift. Of course, I show up in the morning, same driver, same lift, but I was like, fuck it, I'm here now. I just went up. And I went up and I banged out this whole thing, got like an 8-day project done in 3 days because I was so nervous. I just scrapped some and I was like, I gotta get it done. Ended up being amazing. Like, it's one of my landmark murals now and people love it, but it's just, you know, the stuff you deal with in this job is kind of wild.
Hey, it's Josh. Hope you're enjoying the podcast. And if so, are you wanting more road stories? Well, good news. I've got you covered. Consider becoming a patron. You'll have access to loads of great bonus stories that there just wasn't time for. And you'll be supporting a truly independent podcast. Find the link in the show notes. And thanks. Now back to the show.
I had a job in Roanoke, Virginia a couple years ago that I painted together with a good friend of mine, Owner, another artist from Switzerland. We collaborated on walls from time to time, and this was a massive project. Client was great, budget was good, everything was set up, but when we do these projects, a lot of time you're painting in parts of town that are the less desirable parts of town, like murals are, love it or hate it, a part of a gentrification tool that cities use to kind of change areas or spruce up certain things. So this is something as a mural painter you kind of deal with. So in this case, we were actually painting in a very nice part of town, but when looking for accommodation, you often have to be quite careful, like, where are we staying? We're gonna be here for 2 weeks. We wanna be comfortable. We're gonna be painting all day, long hours. We need comfort in our evening. And this project had a good budget, so we were like, all right, you know what, let's get a nice place. So my buddy and I are looking, and it's not a big city, it's not a big town, so there's like not a lot of Airbnb options, but we did find this one that was like almost surprisingly too cool. Like, we're looking at it, and it looks amazing, and in the description it's like, it's a loft apartment above a concert venue. The concert venue is now closed, but the people that own this building run a festival, like a hippie, like Grateful Dead style festival in the mountains here every year. It's a hugely popular festival. And we looked it up. It was like, oh, this is kind of a big deal. And this Airbnb was the headquarters of the festival, like year round when they were planning it. So it's all like super hippie vibe inside. There was a pinball machine in the kitchen, and we're reading through the description. As I said, we have to be careful where we stay. So we're reading through the description. It's like, the place is amazing. It's so great. We had so much fun there. It sleeps like 15 people. We're just 2 guys, but it was like, fuck it, the price is right. It's right near where we're painting. But we did see in the description also, it was like, yeah, be careful of the junkies around. Like, there's some sketchy characters. Like, it was difficult for us to get in and out of the place because there was always like junkies on the stoop in front. And it was like, all right, this is something we're gonna have to pay attention to. But whatever, the place looked great. So we go there, and it was exactly as advertised. It was amazing. It was this massive loft, like 10-foot high ceilings, bedrooms, 2 separate bedrooms, but my buddy's bedroom was sort of in the middle of the loft, and the walls of his bedroom didn't go all the way to the ceiling. So it was like this one big, massive open space, huge couches. It's very, very comfortable. So the next morning we get up. First day of any project is usually very, like half relaxed, half stressed. Like, we got plenty of time, but let's make sure all the pieces are in place now. Let's go get the materials, go see the site, meet the organizer. So a lot of like getting shit figured out on the first day. So we go down to the car. We had a rental car. We're sitting in the car. My buddy owner's driving. So we get in the car, and he's like looking up on his phone, where are we gonna go? Like, how do we get to the wall? And so I'm sitting in the passenger seat, just kind of looking around, realizing, oh, this is the first time we're seeing the neighborhood, because we got in late last night. And I'm like, there's a few zombies walking around here. It's like 7 a.m. on a Tuesday. This is interesting. There's this guy walking towards me, like 40-year-old guy, obviously out of his mind. He's holding a box cutter, and he's just slashing the bushes down the street as he's walking by. And I'm like, we should get out of here. We'll do the phone stuff later. Let's move. So we move. We go to the wall. We meet the organizers. Project's going well. Everything's falling into place. No problems at all. We go home that evening, get into the place. Again, no problems getting in and out. Couple junkies, but nothing big. Turn on the TV, have a couple beers, and we're like, okay, day 1. Accomplished, feeling relaxed. Day 2, same thing, wake up in the morning, see all the junkies, go to the wall. It's like Groundhog's Day. It's like same situation. Okay, let's get out of here, go to the wall, spend the whole day painting, 9 hours, 10 hours, whatever we painted, and we come back to the loft, everything's fine, and we're exhausted. So this is now night 2, we're in the loft, and we're sitting at the couch, having a couple beers, just winding down before we head to bed. And my buddy's like, yo, did you see that? And I said, what? And he goes, I thought I just saw something like shoot across the room. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, I don't know. I thought I saw something. All right, fine. We just move on. We're watching TV. And then he's like, did you hear that? I'm like, what? And then I do hear, it's like a squeaking noise, like I don't know, like an animal, squirrel or something. So we're like, is there a squirrel in the apartment? And we didn't see anything, but we could hear it. And then we kind of walked around. We could tell it was in the ducts, like in the vent ducts. And because this is a loft, like it's all exposed ductwork and like metal pipes and stuff in the ceiling. And we can hear it through the vent. Okay, I think there's something in the vents. So, but we couldn't locate it. And we just, eventually we went to sleep. But remember, my buddy's walls don't go all the way up to the ceiling. I'm in a room in the back. So I am like separated from the main area. So at some point, he's in the middle of the night, he comes crashing into my room. And he's like, yo, there's a bat in the apartment. And I'm like, what? And he's like, there's a bat flying around. I just got woken up. It was like flying around me. And I was like, what? So we try to locate this bat. We don't see anything. We can't find anything. And I'm like, I mean, what do you want to do? Let's just go back to sleep. We got to work tomorrow. And he's like, I can't just go lay down in bed and like calmly go to sleep. And I was like, well, do you want to come sleep with me in my bed? He's like 6'5", like this big Swiss guy. And he's like, nah, man, fuck. All right, I'll just go to sleep. So he goes back in his bed, night over, no more bats. Wake up the next morning, go outside, Junkie Festival. There's like these two guys walking towards us. This massive dude is walking with this little tiny like squirrely guy. The big guy has a huge cast on his arm, and they're like mumbling to each other and like making eyes at us. And we're just like, I'm like, yo, owner, let's get out of here. Let's go to the wall. So we go. Paint all day, come home. Of course, now we know we might have a bat situation. And the night before, we had opened the window hoping like, all right, we'll just leave the window open. Maybe the bat will find its way out. And we never found it again, so we were hopeful maybe it's gone. Night 3, same thing. We're exhausted on the couch, unwinding, drinking a beer. And this time, we both see a bat, and it's flying around. And it's like somewhere in the apartment. We can see it. It's distressed. And then we just don't see it anymore. It's gone. We can hear it. It sounds like there's probably more than one. So now we're like, what are we, like, are we just going to stay here? Should we get a new place? We're trying to contact the owner of the property. Like, I think there's a bat situation. But it's 11 o'clock, it's 12 o'clock. We also got to get to sleep and work the next day. So somehow we go to bed, as is the night before. We go out next morning, Junkies, paint all day, come back. Now this is night 4, and it's like full on. We know there's something going on. And we're on the couch, we see a bat. This time we're like, okay, it's not going away. We're going to have to deal with this. And we, with flashlights, and we've got like brooms, and we're walking all around. We can't find it. We're down on the floor, shining the flashlight under the couch and stuff. And then all of a sudden, owner sees it. It's on the floor. And bats aren't supposed to be on the floor. Like, either this guy has been stuck in the house for a few days and is like exhausted, or he's sick. Like, something's not right with this bat. Neither him nor I want to deal with a bat. Like, what do you even do? Is this thing diseased? It doesn't look good. So we managed to trap it in a trash can. And then we found like this plastic sheet we slid under there, you know, like you catch a spider. So now we've got a very aggravated bat in a trash can. I'm holding it in like the trash can the size of a basketball. I'm holding it. It's bouncing around, trying to fly around. I'm freaking out. Owner's freaking out. And I'm like, dude, go open the door. Let's run outside and we'll release this bat into the wild. Like, we run outside and it's exactly like we expected. These two, the same two junkies from before, one with the cast, this massive giant of a man, they're coming right for us. The little guy is screaming at us and we're like, what is going on? And he's like, where are my M&Ms? Y'all stole my M&Ms. They were right there. These guys are freaking out that someone stole their M&Ms, and for some reason they think it's us. And I look at both of them, and I think the best thing that could have happened, I confused them even more than they confused us, because I'm like, I've got a bat in this trash can. We don't have time for you. And they were both like, whoa, you're weirder than we are. And they backed off, and I threw the trash can. The bat did not fly away. It just sort of hit the grass. And we were like, what do we do now? We gathered up the trash can. We ran back inside, and we were like, this was the craziest situation that we've ever experienced.
I want to thank James for sharing his experience. You can find all his work at jamesbullough.com. Also check out his podcast, Vantage Point Radio, where he chats with graffiti, urban, and contemporary artists. And find him on Instagram at James_Bullough. And while you're at it, text this episode to the resident artist in your life. You know you got one. This podcast is created and produced by me, Josh Caldwell. Music by Visual Aid, my side music project. General support and copywriting by Miranda Caldwell. Thank you for listening, and I hope you come back next time.